Hi everyone, today we're here to ask and answer one simple question: is MattDoesFitness Natty or not? For those of you who don't know MattDoesFitness, he's a pretty big fitness YouTuber. He has over 1 million subs on his YouTube channel, and he also has over 400,000 followers on Instagram. He used to do powerlifting, but he sort of transitioned into bodybuilding. He doesn't actually compete in bodybuilding, but he's just focused on improving his physique, weight training, stuff like that. And for a while now, people have been questioning his natty status. I can kind of understand why, and after looking through his YouTube channel, his Instagram, and taking a close look at all the evidence, I'd have to say in all likelihood he's not natural. For one thing, he has a Gymshark sponsorship. It's kind of become a bit of a meme now, but I think that does kind of say a lot. Secondly, he's a pretty damn big dude. Really muscular, his shoulders are like literally bigger than his head. Now, I would say your average person would not be able to achieve that sort of physique naturally, even after years and years of training, so at the very least, the dude is, exceptionally genetically gifted, and probably not natural. Again, I don't think your average person could attain a physique like that. Now, secondly, not only does he have a physique that's not really naturally obtainable for the vast majority of people, but he's also gained muscle mass extraordinarily quickly. He has a transformation video on his YouTube channel where he claims that after only 1 year of weight training, he gained 40 pounds, and it looks like it was 40 solid-ass pounds. Now, again, that's not really obtainable naturally. I would say if you're really genetically gifted, you get into weight training, and, you train hard and consistently for about a year, you could expect to gain about 20 pounds of quality mass to your frame. But Matt gained double that, 40 pounds of, good lean mass in about a year. I would say you have a better chance of winning the lottery than having this sort of physique transformation in a year and doing that naturally. So yeah, really suspicious, makes me think he's on gear, and he also has some other signs of steroid use. So if you take a look at his Instagram photos, there's some weird things going on with his nipples. They're always a different shape in some of his photos, and some of the photos also look like his nipples are photoshopped. Like, looks like the nipples have been transplanted onto, his chest, like with Photoshop. Doesn't look right. And there's quite a lot of photos where it looks like his nipples are like dented inwards. That is a bit of a sign of gynecomastia surgery. So for those of you who don't know, one side effect of steroids is breast tissue growth, and there's a surgery to get rid of that, to remove the breast tissue underneath your nipple. Now, if they remove too much tissue underneath your nipple, it can make it look like your nipples kind of cave inwards, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is actually a really good example of this. Dwayne had that really badly, but it looks like Matt has sort of a mild case of this. It looks like it only dents in a little bit, looks like he might have a bit of scar tissue underneath his nipple. I don't know if he's actually had gynecomastia surgery. Could just be, he has weird nipples. Everybody has different nipples. His nipples just might be different from everybody else's, who knows. But again, considering that he's a really large dude, really muscular, he gained just an unnatural level of muscle in a very short period of time, and on top of that, his nipples seem a little funky, like he might have had surgery to remove gyno. All paints a pretty clear picture, and he also uploaded a video to his YouTube channel kind of addressing some of these steroid claims or these accusations that people have been throwing at him, where he actually got his testosterone tested. And what's interesting about this video is that, according to this test, his testosterone was actually at the very low end of the normal range.
Anyway, the moment you've all been waiting for, the results of my test, here they are. Now, in case you're a moron and you're sitting there thinking, what the hell is that? Allow me to break it down for you. So, the level of testosterone in my body has been measured in nanomoles per litre. You can see there the normal range is about 7.6 to 31.4, and I'm coming in at 11.5. Now, that puts me in the normal range. So the first thing there is that, technically I'm normal, right? But you can see I'm right down towards the lower end of normal. And to be honest, I expected myself to be, at the very least, at the higher end of normal, maybe even like above average. So I was pretty surprised by that. Now, the experienced testosterone checkers amongst you may be confused, bemused even, by the units of measurement used there, because a lot of the time the stuff you read online and the research you look at will measure testosterone in nanograms per milliliter. So I can convert that into that for you now. The average range here is about 220 to 900, and mine comes in at about 331. So again, it's pretty clear I'm right down at the lower end of that normal spectrum.
So I thought that was interesting that Matt had pretty low testosterone. His testosterone was within the normal range, but it was right at the very bottom of the normal range. And for somebody who's, you know, that muscular, strong, and lives a pretty healthy, active lifestyle, you'd expect his testosterone to be a fair bit higher. So that suggests to me that Matt might be experiencing some shutdown from steroid use. Even if you take steroids for a short duration of time, that can cause permanent damage to your testicles where they won't produce as much testosterone as they normally would. So all of this evidence taken together, you know, he's a really muscular dude. Most people wouldn't be able to achieve that physique naturally. The transformation he made where he claimed to have gained 40 pounds in only 1 year, that is just ridiculous. The nipple thing and the low testosterone, I think this all paints a pretty clear picture that Matt is at the very least not a lifetime natural. He might not be currently taking steroids, but I'd say in all probability he's probably not a lifetime natural. Chances are he's taken steroids in the past. Now, apparently Matt has actually responded to some of these criticisms. Just the other day, Greg Doucette uploaded a video where he claims to have spoken directly with Matt, where Matt was arguing that he was in fact natural, and he responded to some of these criticisms about, you know, his weird nipples. So we're going to go through Greg's video and just discuss some of the arguments that Matt made, you know, defending his natty status. But keep in mind, we're hearing this information secondhand. Greg didn't record the phone call he had, so this is just coming secondhand from Greg. There might be a broken telephone effect, and I've dealt with Greg before. He's a little scatterbrained, so just keep all of that in mind.
Some of the reasons why he's not on steroids. He has a wife, and his wife, quote, would divorce him, he told me, if he was to take steroids.
Okay, so again, Greg claimed he spoke over the phone with Matt, and Matt told him that there's no way he could be on steroids because if he was on steroids, his wife would leave him. It's just stupid. Okay, so let's put things into perspective. So Matt's been married for a while. He has kids. So, you know, just based on that, like, you're telling me your wife is going to leave you when you have kids together just because you're taking steroids. That sounds improbable enough. But on top of that, he earns a ton of money. So for one thing, he has a Gymshark sponsorship. That's well known to be a pretty lucrative sponsorship. So he's making some good money just from the Gymshark sponsorship alone. And on top of that, holy crap, the money he's earning from his YouTube channel must be insane. So last month, Matt made almost 21 million views off of his YouTube channel. So how much money would 21 million views make you? Well, here are my YouTube earnings from last month. So last month I made 1.8 million views, and from those 1.8 million views, I earned $9,771, and that's in American currency. Matt made over 10 times the amount of views I made. So if all things are equal, if he has the same like CPM, like ad payout rate, he'd be making over $100,000 a month from 21 million views. You're telling me that your wife would leave you, a guy who she has a child with, who's making an insane amount of money, $100,000 in just 1 month, because you take a drug that makes you look better. No woman on the planet ever in history would leave a guy that they have a child with who is making that kind of insane amount of money just because he takes a drug that makes him look better. That is stupid. Like, what? How stupid do you think we are, Matt, to believe this bullcrap?
Oh, Matt, I can't believe you would betray my trust like this. I'm sorry, but I just cannot be with anyone who's on steroids. Oh, come on now, love. I only did it for you and the kids. Without steroids, we wouldn't have the life we have now. You know what? My father was right about you. Your gains aren't loyal, they're oil.
I showed him pictures of his nipples, and I don't want to sound odd or weird, but I put together a collage of his Instagram pictures that he had posted. I put them side by side and was like, what in the world am I looking at? Why does every freaking nipple picture look different? What is going on with this guy? And I came to the conclusion, maybe he had gyno surgery. I'm not his surgeon. I don't know. But the scarring looked different in different photos. It was certainly, for sure, Photoshopped. If you see the pictures, you can't deny it. You can't. What was his response? His response was, well, when it's cold, it's like it changes it. Last I checked, temperature doesn't swish or make lines or scarring or make your nipples look weird and different.
So I mostly agree with Greg here. Matt is claiming that the reason his nipples look weird and different in all of his Instagram photos is because when his nipples get cold, they like change shape and everything. That's not the greatest explanation. Again, like, I don't have any evidence that he's actually had gynecomastia surgery. I've never seen any photos of him with, swollen breast tissue or anything like that, so we can't say for certain, but there's just something funny with his nipples. Some of his shots look photoshopped. A lot of the shots look like his nipples dent inwards, which is indicative of gynecomastia surgery. It's not the best evidence, but, like, again, considering everything, the transformation he's made, his size, the testosterone, it all paints a pretty clear picture. So, again, the nipple thing, it's not the best evidence that he's on gear, but, yeah, his explanation isn't great.
He started off at 170 pounds. I'm not making this shit up. It's in his freaking video. He stopped triple jumping and started working out. In the next 12 months, that is a 1 year for those of you who don't understand math or a calendar. There are 52 weeks in this year. He says, I am not making this shit up, that he added 40 pounds of muscle in that year. 40, not 4, not 14, 40. 40 pounds in a year. He went from little skinny guy to like not quite my size, but getting there. 40 pounds in the year. He admittedly says, well, he exaggerated a little bit.
All right, so Greg is referring to the transformation video I mentioned earlier where Matt claims he gained 40 pounds in a year once he started weight training. Now, Matt's response to this was he was exaggerating in that video, but if you actually take a look at the video, I don't think he was really exaggerating. He went from just a normal-looking skinny dude to just insanely jacked bodybuilder. What were you exaggerating by? Like 2 or 3 pounds? It looks like he actually gained about 40 pounds in that transformation video. So, again, really, really bad explanation here. Like, just without even him mentioning that he gained 40 pounds, just looking at this visually, there's just very, very little chance that anyone could make a transformation like this in just a year. The chances are almost impossible. You have a better chance of winning the lottery than making a transformation like this in a year.
Okay, another argument to say why he's natural. He took a drug test and passed. I mean, certainly that goes in his favor. Having passed a drug test, that means the day he did his lifts on the powerlifting meet, he was not on steroids on that day. So what would I argue as what would happen? You can take test suspension for 51 weeks straight, stop for a week, take a drug test and pass. What I'm telling you, I'm not telling you how to cheat a drug test. I'm saying it's possible to take steroids for 51 weeks of the year and pass the drug test with 1 week of stopping.
All right, so Matt is claiming that he used to do powerlifting and he's passed a drug test before. That really doesn't mean much, and Greg pointed out, you could easily just do steroids all year round and then the week before a competition, just stop taking to pass a drug test. It's not like Matt was in the Olympics where there's random testing all year round, so him passing one test, that doesn't mean anything. And it really feels like Matt is just reaching as far as possible for, whatever excuses he can. It seems suspicious. The stupid, wife thing, oh, my wife would divorce me, I don't know. It just seems kind of suspicious, the stupid arguments he's coming up with.
So, what was the results of Matt Does Fitness's testosterone test? Well, in the US conversion, 330 nanograms per deciliter. What's the normal reference range? Well, around 250 to 800, say. It's debatable. Some people will say higher or lower. Bottom line, his test levels are on the low end of normal. So he says, well, obviously I'm not steroids, because if I was on steroids, my test levels would be through the roof, or they would be crashed and shut down because it would have suppressed my natural production of testosterone.
So again, Matt's argument here doesn't really make any sense. He could have been cycling off gear, and his testosterone would have been suppressed, and not every compound is going to elevate your testosterone. You could have taken this test while being on something like Anavar or SARMs, like Greg mentioned in his video, and that would have caused suppression of your testosterone production, causing this, low testosterone concentration that you had. So, again, not a great excuse for why your testosterone levels are low. Now, to be fair, these tests can be a bit inaccurate, depending on what time of day you took this test. Maybe you didn't get a lot of sleep the day before. That could have caused your testosterone levels on the test to be lower than they, otherwise would have been. But again, this all paints a very clear picture. Like, you being the size you are, gaining 40 pounds in 1 year, like, it all paints a clear picture, Matt. So, this is why we think you're on gear. In all likelihood, yeah, you haven't been a lifetime natty.
He had another point. Well, I'm natural because why, he said this, why would I take drugs? If I did, why do I eat McDonald's 4 times a week?
Alright, so again, this is coming secondhand from Greg. I don't know if Greg is misrepresenting what Matt actually said, but if Matt actually said this, I can't be on steroids because if I was, why would I eat McDonald's 4 times a week? Eating McDonald's proves you don't take steroids. Okay.
Now, just wait a moment, Sweet Pea. Why don't we just forget all about this and go out and go eat some McDonald's? Oh, Matt, no one on steroids would ever dream about eating McDonald's. Are you really going to give up steroids for me?
Another reason that Matt Does Fitness says he's natural is because, well, he wasn't eating a lot and training for the triple jump, and so his training wasn't that hard or serious in terms of the weights. Like, he was squatting but not like focused on it, and so that was keeping him small, and then so when he stopped, he able to put on a lot of muscle.
Alright, so this is another just total BS excuse. So Matt is saying that, before he started taking powerlifting and bodybuilding seriously, he was just doing track and field. He was trying to stay leaner, so then when he really started doing weights seriously, he just blew up. That doesn't explain gaining 40 pounds in 1 year. No one's going to make that kind of transformation because they were doing track and field before. Like, that's just stupid. All of his excuses just sound totally ridiculous.
Another thing that made me think, yeah, he's covering it up, is he says, quote, from him, "There are not many fake natties on the internet."
So, assuming that Greg is accurately representing what Matt actually said to him, I'd have to agree with Greg. It sounds like he's just coming up with whatever stupid excuses and lies that just pop into his head so he doesn't have to admit he's, on gear. There's not many fake natties on the internet, therefore I'm probably not on steroids. It's ridiculous. Again, all of his excuses just sound like, stupid lies. So my conclusion hasn't changed. I still think Matt Does Fitness either takes steroids currently or has taken them in the past, so he's not a lifetime natty. And, all the evidence combined with his weird, stupid excuses, it just seems like he's trying to cover something up. So, in all likelihood, he's on gear, and he's just lying about it. There could be a number of reasons why he'd lie about it. The Gymshark sponsorship, he might have other sponsorship deals where, the company tells him, do not tell anyone you're on steroids. Companies might not want to be associated with steroid use. It might look bad for the brand. So, maybe that's why he's lying about it. And, especially with something like Gymshark, he's probably making a fair bit of money from them, so there's a financial incentive to lie when, it comes to stuff like that. Maybe there are some personal reasons why he doesn't want to admit to steroid use. He does have kids. Maybe he doesn't want, his kids to know he's taking steroids. It might encourage his son to eventually take them. Who knows? There could be a number of reasons. But tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think Matt Does Fitness is natty or not? And if you like this video, maybe consider supporting me on Patreon or through my website. I have some funding perks you may find interesting. If you're looking for clothing, then check out the Vegan Gain store. And if you're looking for online coaching, then check out Quality Gains. He offers customized meal and training programs. And as always, keep making those vegan and natty gains.
What a relief! When will this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You can believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow. The way it gets to your plate and how.